Hi, I'm Richard Murphy. 20 years ago, I was involved in the creation of the tax justice movement. There was no such campaign before 2003, when I chaired the first meeting of the Tax Justice Network and working with others helped to start this whole process of tax justice. Now, I'm pleased about that, but 20 years on, or nearly 20 years on, it still seems that some people are confused about what tax justice is about. And I think it's worth exploring that issue in this and a number of follow-up videos. Tax justice is actually an incredibly simple concept. What it notes is that the world is a very unfair and unequal place. Resources are allocated to people unfairly on the basis of accidents of birth, whether that be by geography or to whom they are born, by accident of circumstances, whether they are male or female, which ethnicity they are, whether they have disability or not, and so on. And tax justice believes that these issues can be tackled through the tax system and greater equality can be created as a result for the net benefit of society as a whole, and I literally mean as a whole. The aim is not just to benefit those who might appear to suffer, but actually to increase the well-being of those who have the most as well, who quite clearly are not enjoying the benefits of their wealth in the world that we now live in, where it is so unequal that they actually cannot have the benefit of what they own. So the first thing to say is that tax justice is a much broader movement than anything about tax in itself. Tax is the mechanism for the delivery of a fairer world if the tax justice movement is to be properly understood. And what tax justice wants to do is effectively to use the tax system and associated regulation. Let's be clear, it's not just about tax, to compensate for these inequalities and build that better world. So when I talk about the tax system, I mean the mechanisms for creating taxes, so that is the political processes. When I talk about tax systems, I mean the tax authorities that we have and whether they are appropriately funded and run, whether there is justice within that system. So, for example, is it possible for a person to access the laws that they need? Is it possible for them to understand those laws? Are they properly explained? Do they have the right to appeal against a tax assessment if it is inappropriate, and are they given the funding to do so? Is it possible for there to be tax evasion within the system or corruption within the system so that the tax authority itself does not collect the tax owing? Is there tax evasion, that individuals do not declare what is owing and that is not detected, which undermines that fundamental equality of equal treatment that tax justice is all about, which is one of the real reasons why tax evasion is so morally offensive, the deep unfairness within it. Is it possible for there to be tax avoidance so that expensive accountants and lawyers can get round the spirit of the law? Does one country seek to undermine another? Is that the nature of tax competition? And if it is that beneficial or harmful? And I would, of course, conclude that it is harmful, and I would include tax havens in the places that seek to promote that activity, but not just tax havens. All of these are key issues to tax justice. Tax justice is literally about building a fairer world. It's about ensuring that the right things are taxed and that the right things are not taxed. So when I talk about the right things, I mean the right companies, I mean the right people, the right sources of income, and that all sources of income are fairly treated equally, so that capital gains are taxed in the same way as income. I'm talking about the fact that there should be taxes on some sales of goods and services where the products in particular are harmful to society, and we can easily think what those are: alcohol, carbon, tobacco. We can think about things that we should subsidise through the tax system. Education and health are obvious examples. We should be talking about how the tax system can influence the way in which business is operated. Do we provide incentives for investment in certain activities and maybe discouragement from others which we might think socially harmful? For example, why should gambling get the same tax allowances that a productive business creating equipment for the health service get? Is that fair? Is that appropriate? Is it just? And those are the questions that tax justice asks. Now, If you think that's reasonable, then we need a tax justice movement. But if we do, we need a tax justice movement that asks the right questions in the right way to get the right answers. And in the series of videos that I'm going to produce following this one, I'm going to talk about what those issues are and how we should think about them. Because I believe that after 18 years of campaigning, it's time for us to be sure that we know what tax justice is all about. And this is the moment for that reappraisal. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in what I've been saying in this video, please subscribe. There is a button below the viewing screen. If you're interested in what I have to say on Twitter, I'm at Richard J. Murphy on that medium. If you want to look at my blog, that's taxresearch.org.uk. And we have a Facebook page as well, Richard J. Murphy. So one of those things will get you more information on what this video series is about, and I hope I'll see you again soon.